Hello, my name is Olivia Francis. I'm a multi-award-winning artist and songwriter living in Nashville, Tennessee. Welcome to What's Your Birthday and What Does It Mean? Sisters Jeri Isaacs and Donna Bernard, co-moderators of the popular Clubhouse Room, explore life's dynamics from their unique point of view based on the day you are born. Sponsored by NashvilleGuitarGuru.com and DearWiseWomen.com. Always fun, never disappoints. It's always in the cards.
Hi, Jeri. It's good to see you and listen to you again.
Hi, Donna. How are you today?
I'm doing really well. I'm really excited to continue the conversation that we've been having on our Reset for Women 360 last night, and continuing the conversation about mothers and our daughters.
Yes.
And I was really excited about, what listening to it, and then it inspired us to continue the conversation with our trailblazing women.
Yes, gotta love those trailblazing women. I think we started talking about some of them, right? A little?
Yeah, because while we were recording our session with Carmen, who was in the news.
Yeah. What did we see? We saw that Melinda Gates, right? Her daughter Jennifer got married.
Yep.
So, and we did our first story on Melinda Gates and Melinda and Bill Gates when they got divorced or separated.
They announced their separation.
They announced their upcoming divorce, which took about a week.
But our unique point of view that we wrote it so quickly, combining your deep knowledge of the cards and mine of the business industry, it really launched us to over 500 views in 24 hours. So we really knew that we had something.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite stories.
But the funny part of, while we were recording for the talk radio, they were in New York City celebrating their daughter's wedding.
Yep.
And who else was in the news, Jeri?
And then I started reading about Madonna and her daughter, Lourdes. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Lourdes, yeah.
Lourdes.
I think so.
And mothers and daughters. So the theme continues, and I think we should do that.
I think so, because our Trailblazing Women series, when I look back at it, we have Meghan Markle, so we could talk about her mother. Yeah. We have Loughlin, the Full House and of the news, and her daughters, and Jennifer Lopez, J-Lo, and her daughters. And if we get to it, by special request from our number one fan, Jessica, my daughter, Lady Gaga and her mom.
Yep.
So let's see, because it's always in the cards.
See what we see?
What will we learn about mothers and their daughters? Because it's really important, the relationships that we have as we, it's a very special bond. So let's go, Jeri.
Yeah. I mean, yesterday
that's what I say.
Yesterday we started seeing the connection that we each had, you and your daughter being my daughter, and Carmen with her daughter. And now we're going to look at some of these others, and I don't know what we're going to make of it, but let's see. So Melinda Gates.
Wait, let me just interrupt you for 1 second. All of what we're talking about is on DearWiseWomen.com. So yes. All of the stories and the cards that we're talking about are housed on DearWiseWomen.com for you to actually look at everything in a chart to follow.
Yes, but I'm going to have to get a chart up for the daughters of these mothers. I don't have that yet. So that will be the next project. But so Melinda Gates, I think I mentioned yesterday, and I don't normally talk about the birthday, but since we were just starting to look at Melinda and Madonna, both with the M, Melinda, Madonna.
Yeah. Yes.
Their birthdays are one day apart. I was like, really? 8/15 and 8/16. I don't have years. I'm just looking at days.
Right. No years. We don't age.
Women are ageless. So Melinda we knew she's a double jack of clubs, and we even knew that she had a 2 of clubs as her third card. And it made a lot of sense if you read the article that I wrote about her and Bill Gates. It makes a lot of sense why they eventually had to step away from each other.
Part ways. Not because he didn't say thank you enough.
That's only in his mind.
In his
mind, right? Now Jennifer Gates, daughter Jennifer, she's an 8 of clubs and 4 spades. Now I believe we were talking about that yesterday, the 8 of clubs, because Carmen's daughter is an 8 of clubs.
Yes.
And I found it so funny that the first daughter we were looking at also had an 8 of clubs. And she had a double 4 of spades. And so that 8 of clubs makes her very, that 8 of clubs, it's that mental power she has, really smart, which doesn't surprise me, daughter of Bill Gates and Melinda Gates. And then she's got a double 4 of spades, which is this really sturdy, like, business card. She's going to just do really well, and I so don't doubt that when you see her family. She looks like a really bright girl. Now Madonna, born on 8/16, next day, birthday-wise, is a double 10 of clubs.
And you know that's one of my favorite cards.
You love that card. And that's mental accomplishment. So we know she's so smart. And the thing that for Madonna, I just remember she used to always reinvent herself. I mean,
yes,
with my husband in the music business, like you get to, you see someone who's a performer like that and what they do over the years, and it's really fascinating. And she was always fascinating. Had all these different images of who she was. And she was always thinking, so she's really brilliant.
That Material Girl, I think that's how she started, but...
She did, but I think, was she like a virgin too? I mean, which she wasn't. I mean, no, I mean, she had a lot of really great songs.
She's really something, yes.
Yes.
And well, now I even love her more because she's that 10 of clubs that...
Right, and her third card is that 3 of hearts, which is like... It's another love card, but a lot of variety, like just sort of searching for herself, or it's also with a lot of people. Like it just goes along with her performing attitude, who she was out there,
who she is,
she is, not was.
She still
is.
I'm
sorry, yes. And now Lourdes, I just have to laugh because she's an 8 of clubs too. I mean, and she's a 4 of spades. She's exactly the same cards as Jennifer Gates, except for that third card. And so Lourdes, everything I was reading was she was upset with, as she grew up, because her mother was too controlling. And boy, that's 8 of clubs, which is that mental power against that 10 of clubs, that mental accomplishment card. Like I could just see them locking, heads over things. And I think that it was hard for Lourdes because of that she's such a strong card to have to be listening to her mother, and her mother wanted to keep. No, but her mother was now as she's older. If you read the articles, she really respects her mother,
of course,
and she really respects what her mother has done for other women, empowered them. But when she was younger, it was more like, "What are you doing, mommy?" Like we all have.
I think, like Carmen said, "I got this, Mom. Leave me alone."
I got this, right. And she's got that 4 of spades also. That's that really good, working. I didn't really look into her work, what she's doing now. It was more about her and her mother. But it was just funny to me how the 2 mothers were day apart birthdays, and the 2 daughters had the same cards. That was fascinating.
And we were talking about mothers and daughters, and it's always in the cards, and it's always fun, is what we say.
And you know what I'm curious about as we talk about it, like all these really famous like women who are strong, and we know they're really strong women, like what their daughters are like and now so far they've been very strong daughters too. Mm-hmm. They didn't raise like daughters that they raised daughters who had a big spine to them, they were not they were really strong women.
Well, and that's why continuing the conversation with our trailblazing women, we talked about Meghan Markle with Prince Harry, but now we're going to look at Meghan Markle and her mom. Mm-hmm. And then we get to look at Lori Loughlin and her 2 daughters, and J-Lo. And what, J-Lo's, it's interesting because when you live in the news and you have a famous breakup with A-Rod, which we also covered in Dear Wise Women.
That's right.
And then you see the families, the children are also interconnected. So it's mothers and daughters and
fathers,
his daughters and fathers, right. And and it gets harder to untangle because I'm sure they were all together for many years. So let's see what you see there as well.
Okay, where do you want to start?
I'd like to start with Meghan Markle because I have a special affinity towards Meghan Markle because Jeri and I have this conversation because I watched Suits and it was funny because I didn't really know about Meghan Markle as much when someone called me and said, you must watch Suits because there's a Donna on the show that reminds me of you. So that's why I started watching Suits, and I was just, from there on, I was captivated and just, did that binge watch on Suits for every episode and, feel that, whether that's Meghan Markle, Meghan's or not, I feel that it really is her in my mind. So as Jeri says. Well, so I see her from a different point of view because I really am a Meghan Markle fan. So let's see.
So what do you think about? No, tell me what you think about the 9 diamonds, double 9 diamonds, like, what do you say?
I think she has that open heart. What's her 3rd card again?
Jack of diamonds. She has the hearts.
Yeah, well, that's okay because you know what? To be, what she growing up as a biracial woman, child, living in California, and what she, her journey, she had to be tough.
Absolutely.
She had to be determined. She had to be relentless, and she had to acknowledge what she saw with her own. She couldn't. I guess that's what I find in common with her. Not that I know her journey, but I can't look away from things that are not comfortable for me. I look in. I don't look away, as you know. Mm-hmm. So I think that shaped her future, and I guess that's why I see her as that role in Suits, because if Jeri hasn't watched all the episodes yet,
no.
So I see her as that person. So yeah, she had to be tough, and she had to have her journey to emerge as a strong woman, and she's got those diamonds, which gives her the ability to really do well and be independent and not have to compromise her values. She doesn't need to compromise her values. And that's who she is. And I see, Harry, I could see why there were sparks when he met her, because she must be captivating. And then when you see her mother, so you tell me what you see about her mother, Dory, because I just, I guess I'm too much of a fan at this point.
Well,
I'm not sure what's real or not. I'm a fan.
Well, her mother shares the same first card, 9 of diamonds. And, that the one thing about the 9 of diamonds that we didn't really discuss is that it's the universal giver card. So in that case, you were sort of right about the heart, because you have to have a heart to be a giver. But I think her card, Meghan's cards, indicated some struggle as she grew up, which of course is understandable. Now her mother, also that 9 of diamonds, I don't know what her mother's life really was like, but I'm sure she had her struggles, and it was not easy raising, being married to a white man and raising a child.
In Hollywood or wherever they are in California.
And he was always in the same industry. I think he was like a director or something.
Something, I don't know.
Yeah, he was always, and Meghan was on sets because of him. Now Dory, right. Her second card, that 7 of spades, is that card of, it's like the faith card. It's it's a harder card to really talk about, but it has a lot to do with probably like some spirituality. I imagine her mother is very spiritual.
Well, she does yoga, and people who usually are yogis or yoga, they're usually spiritual in nature.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
But then she has a Four of Hearts, which is like that other family is really important to her, you know. So I think that, you know, she was not going to like let anything get between her relationship with her daughter.
No, I just got the chills. And she was really by her. Of course, I watched the wedding. She was really by their scene and by her side. And like, you could feel the love of like this big heart, this petite woman with the biggest heart. That's how I felt. That's who I felt I was watching.
Yep. And they have a nice relationship. And, you know, she must be very excited. Can you imagine your daughter being married to Prince Harry? I mean,
yeah, but then all of a sudden, but then it's like it goes from this is the best thing to, oh my God, we must leave the country, and I think that's the part that gets me, and I don't want to get involved in the politics of it, but you know, losing your mother to the high security risk, and then losing your security in a day has to make somebody frantic.
True.
So I could relate to that being, you know, being really hard to really comprehend. And I'm glad that on this side of the pond, people embraced their safety.
Right. Someone reached out to them and gave them safe haven, I think. I don't remember who it was. But
I think that's like the core of your being, and I could see that Harry really had to like get, you know, it's almost like trauma relived with taking your security away.
Right. Oh God, yeah.
And
she was definitely hurt by that. Yeah.
But the other thing is, and we're staying on the topic of women, but as two brothers, DearWiseWomen.com, we do cover William and Harry's relationships, and their cards are exactly the same, except for the last one. Yep. So when William says they're different, they really aren't. And I expect to see a reconciliation at some point. They will put their swords down. Not sure how, but the swords will be. It
might not be for a while, though. It might not be until the Queen possibly is no longer there, or so many things that we don't know as much about.
Yeah, and you know,
royalty.
But also what we did learn and we're surprised at is how strong Camilla is. Well, because wasn't she? I don't recall her birthday, but she was much more. She was stronger and more prominent than we had realized.
Well, she was so disliked.
Well, she is, but
I'm not sure how much she's disliked now. She was very disliked, but
I don't think so anymore. No.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think that
because we all grow and evolve.
Yes, and even the Queen has accepted her to like the inner circle, which to me that was. I mean, I was never a Camilla fan. I loved Princess Diana, and I was like, what are you doing? Why are you involved? But truth be told, she loved like Charles, and she was with Charles before Diana, you know, and Diana was sort of the interloper in a way, and, you know, Diana was living out of her fairy tale, which became a nightmare, and...
Well, and I think that's exactly why Harry was not going to let that become his nightmare.
Oh, I agree.
Because he truly loved Meghan, and I think he truly had to find safety, and I think they will exceed every imaginable expectation. And it's funny because I think she's a children's book author too now, and we had Carmen on yesterday, who's a children's book author. And I just got a call from someone else who's coming out with a new children's book. So I think that and here we are, DearWiseWomen.com, and Jeri and I were sisters, and you know, we think back to the children's books that we read, and we're like, oh, this doesn't even make sense. I mean, everybody dies in these Disney books, and the things that, you know, maybe it's time that we refresh some of the children's books, and we're on to something here, because, you know, times have changed, and, you know.
But I think the whole idea of those, like Hans Christian Andersen, all those books we read, you know, Brothers Grimm, whatever it was, like, I think it was to present children with hard things that go on in life and how it ends up okay.
You know, I don't know. I
mean, there's a whole thing about those fairy tales because they're not very nice.
No, and you know, it's funny. I don't even know if I ever shared the story with you. Our cousin John, who lives in the city, has 2 young children, and they had a tragic moment. And I was with the kids in the park, and we were talking about fairy tale. We were doing like Rockabye Baby, and they're like, "Why does the baby fall out?" And every because, you know, they're so smart. Right. And they were reciting every like lullaby and everything, and something was always wrong.
Yep.
And like they couldn't hold the baby. Like, why was that?
Why'd the baby fall from the treetop? I don't know.
They're like, it was really a very interesting conversation with young children. So maybe that's what's inspiring a refresh for the children's book authors, because we know we're talking to many now.
Yeah, so anyway, maybe if it's a good opportunity, maybe if it's a good ending, people won't look to be so mean. Maybe
if they didn't drop the babies, they would have.
Right, they would have had a better ending.
How many times, like, what did they drop you on the head? But well, let's continue, because I think the next really fun one. Well, I think we're going to take a pause.
You want to take a pause?
Break, but then when we come back, it's going to be Loughlin.
Okay, but first,
daughters.
When we take a pause, we're going to. I think we're going to listen to a song that I wrote. I wrote that after Mommy died, and I wrote all the words. It was my big song, and Dave wrote all the music. And a good friend of ours, Rebecca Hosking, who's a recording artist who lived in Nashville. Also, I think she now lives a lot in overseas in Scotland, and she goes back and forth a lot. But she recorded it and gave its a title cut to her CD, and it was called "My Mother's Child." So I think it's very appropriate when we talk about mothers and daughters, because this is how I grew up, and that's what that song is about. So I hope everyone enjoys it, and we'll
be back.
We'll be back.
Stay tuned.
tears to start. Turkey stuffing, pumpkin pies, the sparkle never left her eyes. Instead she cooked and laughed and smiled, kept her secret deep inside. Mom's last gift to her family was quiet strength and dignity. 21 by 39. I'll always be my mother's child. And on the day she slipped away, pain turned black, she couldn't stay. Her journey here with us was done. But in my soul she will live on. She will live on. Watch your step, you always fall. My mother's words since I was small.
So, welcome back. That was Rebecca Hosking singing title cut from her CD called My Mother's Child. I wrote that song. Interesting. I wrote that song in like just a few minutes, and Dave put the music to it, and he didn't make a lot of changes. It was really, I think that one came straight from heaven. So
I think so, and Mommy would be very proud of you. And she was always Dave's biggest fan, so.
Yes, she was. She was, and it's a beautiful song. It makes me sad, but
she's in our hearts, so she'd be happy that here we honor our mother, and we had on our first talk radio our daughters who
That's
she
right.
loved dearly. So there's
sorry, I can't. What's wrong with me?
Well, she loved them dearly.
Oh my God, the secrets
it was just,
she kept their secrets. She kept their secrets.
It was only till the teens. It wasn't like that when they were little girls. It was the teens, and God knows what you did in your teens.
Oh no,
I was afraid to walk out. Anyway,
okay.
Let's continue on our.
Okay.
Because we started with our Trailblazing Women, and I think it's kind of neat that we're going to go to Lori Loughlin and her daughters, because our children grew up with Full House, and then we got to see another look at Lori and her Full House, her two daughters. So let's see what you see in Lori Loughlin and her two daughters.
Okay, but you can't really talk about Lori without at least talking about the elephant in the room, which was the scandal with the with the college, with the universities, and how she put her daughters on the rowing. I mean, it was very scandalous, and she went to jail, didn't she?
She was like the others, really like quick. There's actually a series on it, or there was a movie on it, Varsity Blues, which you get to understand it from a different point of view on what was really going on. But Felicia, the other, a lot of people just pleaded guilty, quickly made a deal,
right?
And Lori, they held her ground.
Yeah, she's a king of hearts.
Of course,
and the thing with the King of Hearts is like funny because, that's the loving father card, and she's got a triple King of Hearts. So like, to her, it's almost funny because what did she do? She put them in a like she was the coach, like she put them in coach, and she put them both on teams and stuff because that was how they would get into school. And it was such a it was a very big scandal, and I think it hurt her reputation in a lot of ways because it took her off of the Fuller House show that they were doing. So it really was painful for her.
It did impact her, yes.
It really did, and her husband too. But the interesting for me was her daughter. Now, I don't know Isabella Rose, what a beautiful name. Next time maybe I'll play Isabella, the song Isabella.
I think that would be wonderful.
But Olivia Jade, I don't know. I do watch Dancing with the Stars, and she's on it. And I have to say, she is a magnificent dancer, a beautiful girl. And the thing that I really liked about it was that the first day she started with, I've had a really hard few years, and with the family, what happened, and she addressed it. I mean, she was, She addressed the elephant in the room. She did, and she needed to, basically redo who she was. Like, she wanted people to know who she was, and not based on what happened with her, with that college and all that. And Dancing with the Stars seems to be the place where people come to reinvent like all the Bachelors and the Bachelorettes. And
you know what? It's funny. Remember, we had one of the Bachelors from a Bachelorette series in our clubhouse room from a long time ago.
Right, but he was never But she almost
is she a nine? Is she a 9 of hearts?
She is a 9 of hearts, and then a double 5 of diamonds.
Oh.
But she almost was kicked off the show last night, which was it was like heartbreaking because there are some dancers who aren't nearly as good as her. And she went first. And you know what? When you go first, she deserved all 10s, but she was, they saved her. So it was good. But that 9 of hearts, it's interesting because it's that very giving card that it's like the 9 of diamonds, but the 9 of hearts, it's unconditional love. And I think that's what she probably has for her family, and maybe even for people in general. She's just that very loving person, and she's very accomplished in her own way. I think she was doing a lot of blogging and stuff. Like she had a following. I mean, she's not she didn't need her mother to help her get into college, I don't think.
Yeah, is she a TikTok star?
I would have to look that up. I'm not.
I don't know, but sure, only because somebody asked me to be on a TikTok.
Yes, I know.
Debut. So
TikTok, whatever.
I'm going to do it because I'm fearless.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, we're going to get billions of views. You're going to hold up a card that says, "I am a 4 of diamonds, but I'm a 10 of clubs."
And I'm TikToking.
and I'm counting down until I explode.
DearWiseWomen.com.
That's what it should be like. Instead of it should be a countdown, and at the very end there should be like an explosion, Donna all over the world. Like, there you go.
Sharing my knowledge everywhere.
She exploded. Her brains are all over, helping the whole human race. I'm sorry.
Yes,
that was terrible.
No, but it's how I feel. You know that.
So anyway,
yes, and what's the other daughter's name?
But that King of Hearts. So her mother is that loving mother, and then she has got that unconditional love. So I don't think she held it against her mother. And there's 2 5 of diamond cards. Like, the 5 of diamonds is someone who's looking for what their real purpose, what they should be doing, and she's got a double. So it makes a little sense to me, when listening to her on Dancing with the Stars, because I probably would never have listened to her otherwise. But she's still trying to reinvent herself and who she is, and I think that she's doing a good job. I think she's coming off very favorably. I think, at least she is, as me as a mother looking at her. Yeah, no, I think she's fabulous. And Isabella Rose. Now, funny, she's another 9. She's a 9 of diamonds.
Oh, like Meghan Markle.
Like Meghan Markle, which is like the giver. So she's, even though it's not a heart, it's still a giving type of card.
Yes, it is.
And she's second card is another one of your favorite cards, a 4 diamonds. Now,
oh my goodness!
Now that 4 diamonds would make you think that she would not be a trust fund baby. Like, but her parents had a lot of money. However, with what happened with her mother, I think, didn't they have to be taken out of the schools that they got into?
Yeah, whatever.
So, it wasn't like that easy for her when you have to deal with that sort of thing going on in your family. So she had, in a way, and that 4 diamonds, 5 diamonds that Olivia
they're
Jay
very
has,
close.
They're very close. And Olivia talks about being very close to her sister. Right. They do a lot together.
But they have a 9 of hearts, 9 of diamonds, and then a 5 of diamonds and a 4 of diamonds. I mean, they're aligned.
Yes, they're very aligned, and they really love each other, and they spend a lot of time together.
Good.
Done a lot of things together from what I've seen, and who knows? I don't know if Isabella can dance, but I know she's a very.
Does she have 2 left feet, or can she really dance? No, I'm sure she can dance. I'm sure that she can dance. But and watching the Varsity, the movie gave me a different view inside what was really going on for a long time. So
I don't know what was really going on.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to. It's a lot of these sports, and I mean, what are you gonna say? The Olympic gymnasts, everything. I mean.
No.
It wasn't
people. You know what though? It was.
It was more that they wanted to get their children into school.
Well, but that should have been enough, But it was, when you're on a track team, there could be lots of people. I mean, I don't really know anything about this, but if you're on a crew team, you're taking someone else's seat.
Right, someone literally who actually trained for it.
Right, and so there's a level of disrespect that had to be, paid back or acknowledged, or
right.
And I don't know if this happens all the time or what, but it was just time for it to end.
Yeah.
And I think, they were very high profile, so it wasn't like they walked onto campus and no one knew who they were. So it wasn't that too hard probably to realize she didn't know how to crew. So,
you think?
What one would think. And then it's interesting because we also talked about Jennifer Lopez, J-Lo, in our Dear Wise Women as a trailblazing woman.
Yes. Oh my God. She was with Amelia Earhart. Don't forget that.
I know. And it's interesting because she has her daughter, and we also covered A-Rod in our stories too on his birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So you see in the public split of 2 families, Jennifer Lopez has her daughters, and A-Rod's daughters were close with her. So what do you see there, Jeri? Because I see a lot.
I see
you.
Well,
yeah.
So where we just, and Jennifer Lopez, we could do really quickly, is that triple 4 clubs, and
Mm-hmm.
the 4 clubs is that it's the mental satisfaction type of card. It's like very, very creative, very smart, but creative. And a lot of times it has to do with musical ability and artistry. And we can all see Jennifer Lopez being like that. But also there's a bit of a stubborn streak to 4 clubs person, and they sort of know their mind. And I imagine that she knows who she is and what she wants. Her daughter, Emma.
Just to interrupt you for a moment, as our fan base, friendship base listens, all of this is on dearwisewomen.com. So the charts will be up there, and the stories are up there as Trailblazing Women, because J-Lo is one of our favorite early stories as well.
Yes.
And her daughter, Emmy.
Right? Is it Emmy? I'm not sure how to say it.
I don't know. I'm not, you know what? I know they're twins, and Mark Anthony's the father.
Who's twins?
She has like a twin daughter and son.
I'm sorry. I know that there was a son. Yeah. I didn't realize that they were twins. Okay.
Yeah, so we only do mothers and daughters today.
So they were born on she was born on February 22nd.
Yeah,
so she's
at diamonds.
She's at 3 of diamonds card. And then she's 9 of spades and 9 of clubs. And I would love to.
She's a 9 of clubs.
I would love to call her and say, or even ask her mother, is she an old soul? Because those cards are very wise cards. That nine of spades, nine of clubs together. They also talk about like having a hard childhood. And I'm not sure. I mean, how do you have a hard childhood if you're Jennifer Lopez's daughter? However,
and Mark Anthony's daughter.
Mark Anthony, but they're probably always performing and traveling. Who knows what it's like to be their child? A lot of privilege, but there might be, we don't know this story. We don't know the backstory. But the three of diamonds is that card of someone who is going to probably be very successful because they have such a deep-seated fear of not having, and probably for her it's like maybe not being as successful as her parents. When you have a mother like that, she's almost like the first kid. But you know what? It is a strong card. She's got that nine of spades, nine of clubs. So,
I can't wait to see what she does.
It'll be interesting.
Because she's young. Yeah.
Yeah, she's very young. 2008 she was born, so she's young.
And, it's interesting to see the relationship when, obviously, it's not A-Rod is not the mother, but his daughters also had, you could see the connection of, when a family splits like that, one set's merged and then they're torn apart, you see the relationships between their children must have been very, very strong. So it's
I mean, Ella,
it's a lot of entanglement to.
Yeah, I mean, Ella is like born just like 2 months after if it's Emma, I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to figure out how to pronounce it. And she's a king of clubs, so she's that really smart master of knowledge
like
card.
you.
But then she's a four of diamonds, like you.
Right.
Which is the
hardworking.
The hardworking card. Successful though. And a four of hearts, which is family's important. And I mean, her sister Natasha also has a four of hearts there too. So she's connected with her sister. But if you look at Emma and Ella, the two of them together, I mean that three of diamonds and four of diamonds are very close. Like those two girls must have been very close, I would imagine. King of clubs and the nine of clubs, both very smart, wise people, and that four of hearts was just a family thing. So I'm curious to see.
I think they're going to
read about them.
I think they'll be connected forever. And I think that J-Lo and A-Rod are mature enough to understand the relationship that their girls will have.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I mean,
well, it's interesting because, we're talking about the mothers and the daughters, and J-Lo is a triple four clubs. But we did do Alex, his birthday. He's a double ace of clubs. So you could see there was probably like
I think he's a triple ace of clubs, no?
Probably is. But the point is there's a lot of mental, there's a lot of, actually, if you read each one of their stories on dearwisewomen.com, you can come to your own conclusion about why you think they were a match or should they go. It's funny. We do that one night a week on our clubhouse. Should he stay or should they stay or should they go?
Yes.
We had a really fun young woman in the other night. She said, well, I just left the relationship for a really long time. And I said, well, what's his birthday? We'll tell you. And she goes, oh, no, he is not coming back. But that's for another time.
Yes.
Because we love what goes on in our clubhouse room. We learn a lot, not only about people, but about things that happen in the world. So,
right. And that Natasha, the older of the two daughters, that two of clubs, that card of conversation.
Yep.
But she's very connected to A-Rod. Yep. I wonder if they have a special relationship between the two of them. And then four of hearts, she's got that family, that heart, just like her sister. The two of them got that family thing going on. And then she's got a six of spades, which is the card of fate, and the seven of spades. So she's got this little spiritual stuff going on in her. So she must be pretty wise cookie also, huh?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's why it wasn't easy for them to part their ways. And I don't know if you will part these children as they grow. And that's why we love when we look at things from a different point of view here, because we're not going to go to Ben Affleck, because that just is we could keep going. But Jeri, if I check it correctly, he's the same birthday as Melinda Gates. Could that be possible that he's a double jack of clubs?
Yep.
With the two of clubs? I mean,
Yep.
we're not going to do that, but we'll have to do another series about, the men that met women and their exes. But let's just.
We're seeing a lot of similarities in cards, though. I mean, a lot of powerful cards. And you notice that a lot of these performers and powerful people, we have a lot of that mental power, that 8 of clubs, that 10 of clubs. I mean, we keep seeing those cards over and over. The Ace of clubs, 4 of clubs. I mean,
I know, and we were talking earlier because we didn't really get to. Well, also, oh my goodness, staring me in the face, because Jessica, my daughter, requested Lady Gaga because she adores her.
Bingo, right?
And look at that, she's a 3 of hearts and a 7 of clubs, and her mom is an 8 of clubs and a 10 of hearts. I mean, you can't make this up. Okay. Or do I have it reversed?
I don't know.
Well, needless to say,
I have it a little.
It might be reversed, but needless to say, one is a 7 of clubs and the other is an 8 of clubs.
Yes, that is true. I think Lady Gaga is the 8 of clubs.
I think I agree.
But then she's a double 10 of hearts.
Oh, there you go.
So there you go with that performing thing. And that's another card. A lot of these, performers have that 10 of hearts card. It's big. And her mom, if I have it right, was August 30th.
Yeah.
And she's a 9 of hearts and 7 of clubs.
Oh, okay. So there you go.
So like her mom was able to, I'm sure her mom was really supportive. Lady Gaga's mom had to be. Yeah. And so she was like, look how connected 9 of hearts, 10 of hearts, and 8 of clubs, 7 of clubs.
And that's what we saw, last night, last episode, the connections that we had with our daughters, and we're seeing the same here as we look at our trailblazing women. Yeah, it's really powerful when they say mothers and their daughters. They're not kidding.
No, they're not kidding. They are.
And we're going to
special relationships.
Yeah, and I don't know if we have time, but I was looking at, we did do Jackie O and her daughter Caroline we could look at. And then if we still have time, Diana Ross, because, dude, I love Diana Ross. Love Diana Ross. And her daughter Tracy, who is on that show Blackish that I'm a big fan of. Yeah. So those are...
Could do. I think we have time.
Okay.
But I mean, because we wrote about Jackie O, right? So she's
the same as Lori Loughlin. They have the same birthday.
Right.
So we featured them together.
Right. And so she's another one who's that triple king of hearts. And she's like the epitome of that card as a female. Because, when you're a female, and that was the other thing with Lori, like a lot of times the kings there's a lot of masculine energy with that card. So the females are very powerful. And you got to be the right man to really be able to deal with it. And, certainly Jackie O being married to President Kennedy first. Right. And then to Aristotle Onassis.
That does make sense now, right? And you have to look at his cards another time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember what they are, but I did look at them, and I think I looked at them when I did the story. It might be in there. But I just remember that they had been really good. They were friends. And
they were good friends.
There was a lot of need for security.
He provided a lot of security because she was really...
I mean, it's scary,
paralyzed.
After Bobby got killed too. I mean,
it was paralyzing that time.
Yeah, and it was very important for her to provide a safe place for her children.
Oh, absolutely.
And, she's the epitome of that king of hearts, triple king of hearts. And she was in publishing, and she did great things. She's a great photographer, right? if I'm
Right,
remembering.
but what's Caroline's cards? Because we looked that up before. And I think she too has an 8 of clubs.
Well, her first card's a 6 of hearts, so that's that
Peacemaker.
Which, the King of Hearts and the 6 of Hearts, they do have a lot in common, and
But I think
and
she
go
was even
along.
appointed as an ambassador, I think, at one point. So
Caroline, yeah, I think
yeah,
so.
so
So she's definitely that 6 of Hearts, but she's a double. Wait for it, 8 of Clubs. I
you can't
mean,
make this up.
like there's so much brain power amongst
All
the
of us.
children. Oh, yeah,
All of
I mean, a
us.
lot of the children of the strong women. It's so interesting. Um, Caroline, she has her own. She's a really smart person. I mean, it's hard for me to think about her as being 63 years old. I don't know why. It's like but like I grew up with her. We grew up in her at the same time.
Camelot. Camelot.
Oh
Yes.
God, yes, I sure love that show, that movie, and the Broadway show. But it was, yeah. So you want to take a quick peek at Diana Ross?
Yeah,
Because
take
you're
a
gonna
quick.
have to love her.
You could look up Diana Ross and Tracy, and while you're looking up their names, the birthdays, unless you have it there, I was going to just remind everyone about our social currency as for Reset for Women 360, and what that means, because we all have social currency on what we read, follow, share, subscribe, like. So just, on dearwisewomen.blog, we're going to start writing a little bit more, maybe just doing an audio of the power that we have with our social currency.
But
Because, yeah,
I'm going to interrupt you. If you're watching this on YouTube, see that button, subscribe.
right, Jeri Isaacs, subscribe. So we're sisters, just in case if you missed us from the beginning. So Jeri and I have been having this conversation for 25 years, why the day you were born sets your personality and your traits for the rest of your life, and how the first 15 years of your life, no one has a guidebook. And we all try our best as parents to raise our children, as mothers to raise our daughters. So we've had this conversation for 25 years. And when I found out about the clubhouse, I said, Jeri, this is early February 2021. I said, let's get on the clubhouse, open up a room, maybe someone will join us. And now we have people from all over the world coming in. We host 3 nights a week, Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're here on Talk Radio on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's really been a lot of fun, because from that conversation, we started a website. Now we have a YouTube channel, and we're on Talk Radio. So our social currency is likes, follow, share, subscribe, comments, because that's what fills our soul. Because as we started sharing our conversation, meeting hundreds of people, well, we do like 20 people at a time, like a round robin in a community conversation. It's really important what we do in that table that we have to talk to everyone. So with that said, Jeri, do we have time for Diana Ross and her daughter? Because what a great way to
I'm not
end
sure.
with.
Well, we could do it quickly. I mean, easy. It's easy.
Okay.
Diana Ross.
3 of Hearts.
10 of Clubs.
Oh my God, I love.
And a double 3 of Hearts.
Oh, of course.
I mean, so that's the, what else can we say? I mean, like the
Smart
performer and the
performer.
smart performer. Tracy Ellis, 6 of Hearts, which is the peacemaker that we were just talking about. And we'd have to really read more of this story to see how much what that meant. But she's also a Jack of Spades, which is the
actress.
Actor. I mean, the actor card, and a 10 of Diamonds, which is the blessed card of having money and success and overabundance of it. So, yeah, I mean,
it's always in the cards.
It is always in the cards. You could see the success in the cards that have that all these people that we spoke about. You could see how they've become successful and why, and might not always be easy, but they had the cards to get it done.
And that's why we're sharing this conversation, because, early in the pandemic, mothers came in that they were concerned how their children were learning. And Jeri, being that king of clubs, was very passionate about saying, make sure they read to their ability, not to their level, because even though they do their homework quickly, it's really important that they learn to their ability, because they'll get bored and then they won't use the knowledge and the power that they have to learn. So, and then understanding if your child learns, differently or with a big heart, and making sure children work together, because if someone's really strong mental power, maybe they lack that creativity, and they help another child learn how to read, and they learn how to be, more part of society with that, a fabric of the community. So we welcome you, and follow us on dearwisewomen.com. Join us on the Clubhouse anytime. And Jeri, I'm going to end it with saying I'm Donna Bernard, and thank you for joining us on this hour.
Well, I'm going to say peace out. However, I'm also going to say we're going to listen to our theme song again, which my husband wrote, and Olivia is our announcer. And we're going to then probably, the last few minutes we have, will probably always be ending with Dave's instrumental music, because we have a whole catalog of that, and he's putting it together. So we love to give him a platform to play some of my favorite music. So with that, peace out.
And I say, Donna Bernard, thank you.
Doesn't go right.
I say, Donna Bernard, thank you for joining us this evening, and look forward to and enjoy the music, because we do.
Yes. See you next week. Bye.
Love you, Jeri.
Love you too.
Okay, good night.
Bye.
This is Olivia Francis. Thank you for listening to What's Your Birthday and What Does It Mean with Jeri Isaacs and Donna Bernard. Please join us here at Reset Talk Radio every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. Central. You can join their live discussion on Clubhouse in their club, What's Your Birthday, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at the same time, 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Please visit dearwisewomen.com and read, follow, and share as they take a fresh look at people in the news. This program was for entertainment purposes only.